Hey, welcome to another Flights with Joe. We are here having a look at the 407 mod from SimFocus. Was that a horse? We're at Hogsback Ranch by Parallel 42. I thought I'd just pop in here and do a full startup with a actual checklist from a 407 to check out this new 407 improvement mod. But first, just for fun, and because it's possible now, I thought I would do a compare with the 206L, which is what the 407 is based on. The 206L from Cowan Sim. These are all the different attachments of the 206. It's got wire cutters. You can add a spotlight. You can add a camera in the front. You can put on floats. There's the floats. It has a full spray kit. And it has EMS, interior option. Oh, and all the doors open. Okay, so here we are. Outside in this beautiful scenery from Parallel 42. Link in description. It's one of their scenes. You should get them all. And we're going to hop in and start this up using the real world start from an actual manual. You can find it online easy. Now, the manual that comes with this mod is really good. It's really good. And if you look around, there's nothing different really. Okay, you can't see the difference. It still has a window that opens. And okay, that's about the end of the niceties. I think it looks great. I think it's pretty nice. I do have cameras set up so I can see things better here. And as we go along, you'll see how close this is, how close this comes to the actual startup for real world 407 flight sim manual. First thing, cabin interior, clean equipment secured. We just did that. Fire extinguisher installed and secure. Fire extinguisher installed. Okay, we can't take off. Cabin loading. Maintain CG within limits. Passenger seat belts secure. Yeah, I can't actually secure. I can't. All right, it's a simulator. Let's move on. Co-pilot seat secured, doors secured, throttle closed. Hey, we can do that. So if you have something like SPAD Next, you can attach this throttle in SPAD Next. I'll put up I'll put up some text for which it is. I haven't done this. It's fine for me. There's only like 3 positions anyway. Keep going. Landing light switch is off. It is. That's right here. The communication switch is set, altimeter set, instruments, correct indication. So communication switches are set, and the instruments are correct. Let's make sure, though. I'm just going to hit the B key. Everything looks correct. Overhead switch is set. So the battery switch off, generator switch off, particle separator switch, if installed, is off, anti-collision light switch on, hydraulic switch system on. So that's an interesting thing, that in this checklist, they turn on the anti-collision light. The hydraulics I always leave on. I'm not sure if anyone does turn those off. This is the generator battery is off. All the other lights are off. The anti-ice is off. Pitot heat is off. Cabin light, passenger switch off. Position light, as desired, defog switch off. Pitot heater switch off. It is. We just went through that. Engine anti-ice off. Avionics master off. Instrument light rheostat. We do want to turn that up because it's a little dark out here. So we want to turn that up. Overhead circuit breaker switch is all off. I don't know. It says overhead circuit breaker switch is off, and then overhead circuit breaker switch is in. I don't quite understand that, but I guess I would if I studied this helicopter a little more. So that's all correct. Rotor brake handler, if installed, up and latched. It is installed, it's up and latched. But the thing is, you can pull it down and stop that rotor movement because it does work. So the rotor on this one just moves, it just spins. I don't know how Cow and Sim got that corrected, but on this one, it just spins. Caution. GPU shall be 500 amps or less to reduce risk of starter damage. Well, we don't have a GPU, so we're not able to use that. Turn this head tracking off for just a moment. So GPU connected, it is not. Battery switch on for battery start. So the battery switch is right up here. Right there is the battery switch. But I actually have it programmed because I do want to show you some stuff that happens on the dash. Right here. So you turn the battery switch on. You should have a low rotor horn activated for 8 seconds. Trending arts on LCD instruments indicate full scale. Torque and NG digits display 81.888.8. MGT and fuel digits display 81888. NR and NP needles move to 107% and 100% respectively. After 3 seconds, engine out, FADEC degrade, FADEC default, restart fault, and engine overspeed lights illuminate with activation of engine out audio for 3 seconds. Engine out light illuminates with restrictive reactivation of engine out audio after 3 seconds. This all happens at the same time. Horn mute button, press to mute. And we'll go from there. So here is the master switch. Just going to go here so we can see it better. Here's the master switch, and all that happens at once. Mute horn. There we go. And the lights are all coming up correctly. This is huge. This is huge. I think this is just a fantastic thing. If you fly this helicopter, this is great. I mean, there's other parts that are also great, but this is huge. Now, the caution lights should be here, so we should have engine out, oil pressure, RPM, hydraulic system, gen fail, left fuel boost, right fuel boost, left fuel transfer, and right fuel transfer all should be illuminated, which they are. It's all illuminated. Left fuel and right fuel transfer will not be illuminated when forward fuel tank is empty. Okay, but they're on. I guess it's not empty. Pedal stop position, switch annunciator. Pedals centered, press verify pedal stop. Now we don't have, the pedal stop doesn't actually work. So that test is not going to work. I don't think that works here, but that's okay. Flight controls, loosen frictions, check travel, and verify cyclic centering light operation. So your cyclic centering is right at the top of the panel there. And you want to move this around. Move everything around. Realize that you have the collective full up in your armpit. And that's not where it's supposed to be. So the pedals are all working, all correct. And throttle, check freedom of travel. So, and appropriate operation. Off, idle, fly, max, return throttle to off. So we're at off. We go to idle. We go to fly, which is this one. Go to max. And this has a FADEC, which is full authority digital engine control. So the throttle is not used like if you don't, the same way as if you don't have that. With instrument left rheostat on and caution light switch position to dim. Caution lights are dim to a fixed intensity and cannot be adjusted by instrument light rheostat. Instrument rheostat as desired, caution light as desired. Fuel boost transfer circuit breaker switch is left on and right on. Verify all boost and transfer caution lights go out. So now we go back up to the top. Booster pumps on, that's right here. Verify that the switches, that these are off, and they are. Fuel valve switch is still on. Fuel pressure check. So this is odd because I don't see any fuel pressure at this point. Here's the quantities. Fuel pressure is not coming up. There's the fuel PSI. I don't see anything at this point. Caution light test button press to test. All the lights come on. LCD test button, press to test. If there's the LCD test button, I'm sorry. There we go. Instrument check button was the first thing I did. Check to test. Now that thing works and is easy to break. FADEC horn test button, press to test. The horn is here. There you go. Fuel valve switch on, guard closed, fuel valve light illuminated and extinguished. On, and the light is extinguished. Fuel quantity check total and tank. So the quantity is here. Forward tank is 0, 275 pounds. That's actually not enough. I'm just going to put a little in. It's going to add some fuel. There we go. And continuing on. Outside temperature, volts display. Check outside temperature and select volts. So it's on volt. That's right here. I have it on a standard day right now, so that's not going to change much. And then put it back on volts. Caution, any attempt to start engine when voltage is below 24 volts may result in a hot start. Monitor for FADEC failure. If FADEC, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. FADEC fails, FADEC fail warning, abort start by rolling the throttle cut off, which I can't exactly do, but I kind of can. So engine start now, collective full down. I always check these things too. You can hear me pressing my keyboard back there. I haven't spent the $100 for a silent keyboard. So collective full down, it is. Check. Cyclic and pedals centered. So your cyclic centered right there in the middle. That should be off. The light right there, you want that off. If throttle is positioned in idle for more than 60 seconds, this is interesting. If throttle is positioned in idle for more than 60 seconds, starter latching is disabled and throttle must be repositioned to cut off and then back to idle to ensure it for another 60 seconds. To enable it for another 60 seconds. It is recommended that MGT be below 150C when below 10,000 feet or below 65C when above 10,000 feet. Prior to attempting engine start. This engine will hot start now. We now have hot start. Compliance with this recommendation will allow for cooler starts and reduce potential of reaching hot start abort limits. Refer to dry monitoring run paragraph 25A. So if you've already run it, but we're starting it for the first time. Throttle to idle position now. Start switch momentarily press for 1 minute. Hold for 1 second. Monitor MGT. I'm going to read through a couple of things here. Monitor MGT. If main rotor is not rotating by 25% NG, rotate. Start by rolling throttle to cut off. Ensure starter has disengaged when MGT decreases below 150C. Start light will extinguish at 50% NG. This all happens at once. Auto relight. Extinguish at 60 NG. Engine and transfer oil. Check. So that's what we're doing now. So you just hold it, because we have a digital engine start, we just hold this for 1 second. And now we're monitoring. So now we're simply monitoring, and we would have our hand on the throttle and the cutoff ready to turn it, ready to roll it back. So we're mainly watching this, and we don't want it to get too hot. So if it goes in the red for very long, which it doesn't, it really doesn't. Look at the rotor rolling up. Everything is as it should be. Idle is plus 63%, plus or minus 1%. Idle's a little fast. It idles a little bit fast. So the only place that the sound is comparable in this video is at the beginning when I went around both helicopters. I have to adjust the sound a little bit so you can hear my voice otherwise. So if you're wondering about the sound comparing the two, that's the best place to look. And the whole comparison is just for fun anyway. It's hard to compare a helicopter that came with the sim with one that's a payware helicopter. They're quite a bit different, but not as different they used to be. Okay, now battery switch on if applicable. We've already got it on. GPU disconnect, don't need that, but we do need our generator switch on. And while we're up here, we can just turn things on and then we will check them as we go. So we want the strobe lights, position lights. We want the attitude gyro avionics master. And there we go. So now, as we go down through the checklist, turn generator off if ammeter indication drops to 0 amps after an initial full-scale indication. So that's probably not going to happen in this sim. Volts are 28.5 plus or minus 5 volts. So your volts are 26.8. So our volts are actually a little low, according to this. Flight instrument circuit breaker switches 3 if installed, DG, attitude, and turn. So we just turn those on if dual controls are installed. Guard throttle to prevent inadvertent manipulation from co-pilot position. There's nobody there. Dry monitor run. The following procedure is used. So the dry monitoring is if you are hot. That's in the also in the manual that comes with it. Preliminary hydraulic systems check. Now, we can't really do this. Only thing we can do is see that the light comes on and off. But we can't check to see if the... we can't feel the difference. So we just hit this, and we go here, and we see that the hydraulic system light has come on. You're not going to feel any extra resistance with the hydraulic system. I hope that's obvious to people, if you know what I'm saying. FADEC manual check. Warning, auto to manual mode transmission with a NRNP at 100% flat pitch can result in rapid NRNP acceleration in approximately 7 seconds. To avoid possible overspeed condition, perform this at idle. So the throttle's at idle, the FADEC mode switch to manual. So now the FADEC disengaged and the FADEC manual will come on up there. Check NG stabilize at 75% or less. It did. Check NG, throttle increase slowly to ensure engine responds, then return to idle. So we want to, with the FADEC system off, we want to increase this a little bit. Make sure it's going to work. It's not responding. There it goes. There it goes. So it'll work without the system. Then back to idle. And be careful because you can shut it off because this button doesn't work. That button doesn't work. FADEC mode switch to auto, and your lights all go back off. That's what you need. Engine run up. Throttle increase smoothly to fly. Detent position. Check RPM warning light extinguish at 95% NR. So that warning light should go off at 95%. Also, they don't mention... You want to keep your RPM under 40%. You want to keep your torque under 40%, and they don't even mention that in here. NRNP needles check matching and indicating 100% as you roll it up. Overhead circuit breakers highlighted with arrow graphics are powered through avionics master switch. Avionics master switch on. Now, I already turned it on. For some reason, they wait this long, so they really wait till you've... turn the engine up. So I did that wrong. But it seems like most people have the master switch on before they do this. We did wait well over a minute because I've been talking a lot. So you want to wait. You want to be in idle for a minute for the transmission to warm up. See, we are now at 34%. We don't want to go over 40 here as we run this up, and we're waiting for these needles to get up to 100%. But you need to be at about 86%. So we just let it go up. It's almost there. There it is. And then you see the torque winds back down, so you go ahead and move it to fly. There's fly. So this should be good. Avionics master switch is already on. We will hit this twice. I found out this radio is out because this unit replaces COM1. So that's why that's out, if you're wondering. Your COM1 is now in that unit. The 530, I'm pretty sure it is. And we are getting the satellite is what we're doing now. There it is, standby. ELT if installed, check for inadvertent transmission. And in their manual, it just says turn it on. Flight controls, check for freedom. So you're still checking that you have freedom with your flight controls. Now you'll see the helicopter moves a little bit as you do that. Just making sure nothing's in the way of your flight controls. Anti-ice switch. If it's cold enough, check for MGT. Increase an illumination of engine anti-ice switch. So we do want to check this, make sure it works. There we go. Anti-ice switch is off. MGT is at 4 now. We'll watch and see if that goes back down. 492. And anti-ice off. It actually went up. The MGT went up. So that's correct. That is correct. It's just amazing. It still amazes me how much they got this right. Hydraulic system check. Hydraulic system check is the determine proper operation of hydraulic actuators for each flight control system. Collective full down, NR 100%, hydraulic switch off, hydraulic system caution light illuminated. That's about all we're going to see. Cyclic centered, cyclic control, check normal operation. So you check the normal operation of cyclic, collective, and pedals, because this has hydraulic pedals. I think I already said nothing's going to happen. You are going to get the hydraulic system off. You do get the light back on. And hydraulic caution light distinguish cyclic and collective friction set. So if you have a full cockpit system, check your frictions and set those however you like them. Engine anti-ice switch as desired. This is before takeoff now. Light switches as required. Instrument light rheostat as desired. Let's see how our instrument lights are looking right now. I think they're good. I don't know. I might want to turn them up just a little bit. It's daytime, but I don't know if that changes anything. I'm not sure if anything happens here. We're just going to go for a short flight. I'm going to come back and do an auto rotation. We will play. Let's play around with it a little bit. Let's see how she does. You'll notice immediately if you fly this helicopter, or if maybe you haven't flown it for a long time, and now you're getting in it again, you'll notice a lot of things immediately. That is the SimFX effects. That's what you're seeing out there. That's a beautiful thing. Let's pick it up into a hover. Do a hover check. Make sure your trims are neutral. And if you're on a farm like this, you're close to wire. Look how my wires are right there, so watch yourself. Hover is just, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful thing. It's hard for me to fly outside, so I can't do much of that, but here we go. This is the runway on this little... Now, because we're in a 407, we have lots of power to get up and out of the way of wires and stuff. So we sure don't need the whole runway. We can just bring it on up. And as I say, you can break it. Oh, weird. You can break it, so you have to be careful. Getting a weird message. I'll probably edit that out, but okay. Lots of trim is required to keep it, to get a good forward cruise. A lot of trim. And I'll show you what happens. First thing off. First caution. If you just drop the collective, I've got the throttle full up, but if you just drop collective, look at the needle split. and you bring it back up, and most likely you're going to get an instrument check light coming on, but we'll see. Nope, we're good. We're good. So let's go the other way. We'll bring the collective all the way up. That's full collective, and yep, it doesn't like that. You can only do that for a few seconds, and the instrument check light came on right there. So you want to reset that, and that tells you what you did wrong. Go out a little bit further here. Probably seen this helicopter in flight before, but never like this. And I'm going to attempt an auto rotation. I probably need some more, a little bit more altitude. I'll turn back around. We'll have to watch from the inside this time. But the auto rotation is pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm going to try and auto rotate back to the where I was. See if I'm lined up right. Oh yeah, I am. Almost. Hey, there's a little fire down there. But I'm slow. I have not got my speed back up. There we go. I want to be pretty much over the airport when I do this. Uh-oh, that's not the airport. That's a road. The airport is up on that hill. That is a good speed. Really don't want to. Now, I have to just roll it off with my mouse. So I got to be pretty much over the airport, or I'll be in big trouble. Again, I'm a little slow. We'll fix that though. Okay. We are auto rotating. See the needle have split? Actually need more speed, so let's just get more speed. Just head right to the ground there. There we go. I think I'm gonna make it. Now I have noticed it's not much different than a regular landing. I don't know if that's realistic or not. There's my rotor RPM. But I wonder if because it has such a big blade that works. And there it is winding back down. Whoops, and that's about it getting into the trees. I just wanted to show the amazing difference in the startup here. And I wanted to do it at some nice scenery because I always do. Thanks Parallel 42 for creating this great stuff and the sim effects. And thanks especially SimFocus for making this update. They also have, I think you saw some of the pads earlier. We'll see you next time. Hey, you watched it to the end. Hit that subscribe. Thanks a lot.